Hello, everybody. My name is Steve Forman. I'm an executive chef. I'm also a certified executive chef through the American Culinary Federation. This evening, I have the privilege of doing a cooking demonstration on behalf of Independent Health and their Healthy Options platform. And so we're going to be making something that's going to be very good, but also very healthy, such as we're going to be using no salt chicken stock. We're going to use skinless chicken. We're going to add some vegetables, fresh herbs. Cooking with those always is very, very helpful. So this evening, we're going to be working with, actually the title of this dish is a lemon and fresh herb braised chicken thighs. And the reason why we're using the braising method is because I wanted to teach people how simple it is to take chicken, cook it in a different way that's going to incorporate a lot of flavor. And that's the most important thing, right? When we want to cook, we want people to be able to enjoy what we've made with the flavors that we come up with by simple techniques, simple ingredients, simple use of herbs and like zest that we're going to be using, and coming together, preparing this dish so that everybody's very excited. So the first thing we want to make sure we remember is getting our mise en place. It's something I'm always trying to encourage people to understand the importance of mise en place, which is a French word, simply means things in place. Why is that important? Well, we want to make sure that when we start to cook and we begin to prepare and we're cooking and something's on the stove and then you look at your recipe and you notice, oh, I forgot something. You got to stop everything what you're doing, run to the store. Who wants to do that, right? So it's really good and it's very helpful that once you're organized, cooking just becomes fun. It doesn't become stressful. And then by learning simple, small techniques, we're able to just walk through our kitchen feeling confident, feeling good, smelling what we're making, watching what we're making, observing the cooking that's taking place, and find ourselves achieving some great meals that all of our friends and family will enjoy. So what we want to start with first is, like I said, the mise en place. Our ingredients we're using this evening, of course, is going to be chicken quarters. Some's already pre-skinned, but I'll skin this one just to show that as a demonstration. Then we also have bay leaf, we have Dijon mustard, olive oil, honey. The sides that we're going to serve with our chicken will be broccoli, broiled broccoli, and also bee red potatoes, roasted. We have Spanish onions we're going to throw in our dish, some fresh garlic, carrots. We also have fresh thyme, rosemary, and we're going to put all of this together in a Dutch oven, and we're going to braise our chicken thighs with all of these ingredients. And what's going to end up happening is we're going to enjoy this mouth-watering, very tender, very flavorful chicken thigh meal. So let's begin with the chicken real quick. Also, what we want to remember is getting our tools in place. We're going to need a zester, we're going to need our peeler, a chef knife, and our steel. So that way we're ready to rock and roll. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our chicken thigh and we're going to skin it. And it's very simple, but you can also purchase it pre-skinned if you want to. Me, I enjoy the hassle of peeling the skin off and actually cutting some of it off to just continue using my kitchen skills, working with knives. So once we get all of this off, taking some of the fat off to make it a little leaner. But I will say, fat is flavor, but I get it. This is healthy options. Let's remember that, people. So we want to make sure we're making everything as healthy as we can. But we do want to have a little bit of that in there just to bring flavor. So we take our chicken, we skinned it. Now we're going to cut it into pieces. Here we have our chicken ready to go. Now what we want to do is we want to make sure we clean our station. We want to make sure we're sanitizing everything, of course, right? So we have our sanitizing water. Just going to wipe this down real quick, killing any bacteria that may have been on the chicken. Wiping this off really good. Wiping my knife off really good. Now we're ready to go on to the next ingredient, which is Julienne onions. Simple little procedure, but it's important. I already have some pre-done, but we're going to show you how to do it. Start with taking the two ends of the onion off, taking the peeling, getting the skin off, getting it ready to be julienned. Now, what I did was I brought a Ziploc bag with me. Why? because what I'm going to do is save my skins. So as I have a bunch of skins left over, I keep them in the freezer. Later, I can saute these down, caramelize them, make a nice, robust stock. So if I want to make soup, I have a nice flavored water or stock that's going to add the flavor essence I'm looking for when I make my soup. So I keep that nearby just so I can save everything. I don't want to throw that away, right? So now I'm going to cut my onion in half. Simple julienne cut is taking your knife of 1/4 inch and you're slicing. You're slicing your onion, making sure that they look julienne. Now, this is a julienne cut. What we don't want is this cut. That is not how you julienne an onion. You see that? Because what happens is when you stew this down, the fibers, the way the rings are made and the onion grows, what's going to happen is it's going to separate and it's going to break apart. And you don't want your onions all broken apart and looking stewy and breaks up. You want them to be clean and crisp. You want them to look nice so that when this sautés down, it keeps its shape. So we're going to continue to julienne this onion. Now, again, we push it aside. We already have some that's made, but we're now going to peel our carrot. Again, what we want to do as we peel our carrot, we're going to save these trimmings so that way we have something to use later when we want to make a wonderful stock. Again, to make a nice vegetable rice soup, right? So I'm going to take this. I'm going to put it in a Ziploc bag. And now these will store up to 3 months. If I have it, I put it in there for 3 months. If you're not going to use it after 3 months, honestly, you're not going to ever use it, so just throw it out. But what I would encourage you is to save your vegetable trimmings. Sometimes you might be making something with mushrooms. Save the stems, throw that in there. You can keep taking the bag out of the freezer, keep putting stuff in the freezer, put it back, but date it, right? And then one day on a Saturday afternoon, take those a bag of trimmings out, put them in a pot, saute them down with some nice olive oil, salt and pepper, let it keep stewing, then add water, some fresh herbs, let it stew for like 2 hours, strain it, and there you have a nice vegetable broth that you can use for a soup. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this away now. And now we're going to cut our carrot. What we want to do, we're just going to slice it on a bias, real simple. That way we'll be ready. Now we're going to go to our garlic. We want to have fresh garlic. Now, a lot of you know, in order to break this apart, it's very simple. You want to break it up like that and it separates. See that? These you're not going to save. And now you just take a few of the bulbs, put that back, and we're going to take a few of these bulbs. Again, we're going to press down on them, and the peel's going to come off. Very simple. Taking the meat out of the shell of the garlic here. We're going to mince this up real good to put into our dish as well. We're going to bake this up. Garlic is so flavorful, especially after it's been roasted. It works so good. So we got all this peeled. We're going to use it into our dish. We're going to use this. Garlic is great for your immune system. Just awesome. Just awesome. Same with your carrots. It's great, right? Now we're going to chop this up. Oh, we got a little peeled here. There we go. We're mincing up our garlic. Then we're going to make sure we have all of our fresh herbs. We're going to make sure we have all of our mise en place together, because again, remember, mise en place is what? Things in place. We want to make sure everything is ready to go. So here we are. We have our garlic ready to go. All right. Carrots, onion. We have our chicken. Then we have fresh herbs. We have fresh thyme. What we're going to do here, we're not going to pull the stems off like I did before. We're going to throw the whole herb in there. We have our fresh rosemary. Then we also have our lemon, which I'm going to take. Now, a thing about this microplane is that a lot of times people just use lemon slices. What I want to do is I want to try to use all of the value of the lemon. So, for instance, you have a lemon, lime, orange. You can always zest it into any dish that you're using. Then you can cut in half and squeeze and get the juice out. So let's just say you're going to make some iced tea and you have sliced lemons that you want to use. Well, before you do that, zest this out, save it, throw it into a salad later on that afternoon, or put it in some pancake batter, put it in some cookie batter, bake it. Adds so much flavor. Just the citrus essence to that ingredient, to the product you're making, will taste so much different. It'll just be amazing. You'll love it. So we have our olive oil, we have Dijon mustard, we have bay leaf, and we got honey. And so this is the mise en place that we have to have ready. Now we also want to get our potatoes ready. So what we're going to do is we have our bowl here, and we're going to quarter our beet red potatoes. Very simple. We quarter them just like that, put them in a bowl. Why in a bowl? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to toss it with a little olive oil, kosher salt, and black pepper. Then that way I can roast it in the oven, and it will be ready when I take out the braised chicken. So we just take a few more of these. And again, nice healthy side dish to go along with our chicken. So I'm going to just take a teaspoon of olive oil, a pinch of salt, a pinch of black pepper. Now, let's talk about, and just toss it around, real simple, right? All these guys are jumping around together in the bowl, getting ready to be roasted. They like it, they're happy. Now, one of the things we want to talk about when it comes to salt is understanding the importance of salt. Too much salt we know is bad. This is healthy options, so we understand that we got to limit the amount of salt. That's why we bought no salt stock. But we do want to add a little salt here and there. Why? Salt does two things. It removes the bitterness of food, and it also elevates the natural sweeteners that are in food. Salt plays a big part in the flavor profile of foods that we're creating. It's important for us to use a little bit of it. I'm not telling you to go overboard, but without salt, it leaves a bland flavor to the food that you're trying to create. And salt helps to, again, two things: remove the bitterness or lessen the amount of bitterness coming through the food, and elevates the natural sweeteners that are in food. So it's important that we just use a little bit of salt. So having all of our mise en place ready to go, we're going to head over to the stove and we're going to begin searing and braising our chicken, adding the ingredients, putting our potatoes on a sheet pan, throwing it into the oven, and then after that, we're going to watch everything come together, and we're going to assemble it on the plate and serve it to all of you in your warm homes. Sound good? So let's go on over to the stove real quick. So here we are over at the stove. I have my Dutch oven ready to go. I have it on low for right now. So the Dutch oven is going to be a good way of braising our chicken. So what we have to do first is sear the chicken. Then I'm going to remove the chicken and then throw the other ingredients in, let them caramelize. Then we're going to put the chicken back in, put a lid on it, throw it in the oven for 1 hour. By that time, all of the flavors are just going to emerge together with just this wonderful succulent dish of a lemon and fresh herb braised chicken. So what we want to do is first thing we want to do is season our chicken a little bit. Always remember, it's good to season your product before you start working with it. So we season our chicken. Then we come over here. We got our pan hot. We're going to add our olive oil because that's what we're going to sear in. We turn it up. And now what you're going to want to make sure is that you hear this sound. The sound that you're about to hear, that's love. You got to hear that noise. That's what you want to hear when you're sauteing. Now what we're doing is we're going to sear the chicken, and it's what's happening to the chicken is what we call the Maillard reaction. The Maillard reaction is basically a chemical reaction between a protein and heat. And when protein or the amino acids are affected by the heat, they begin to break down and they create new strands. And that's what's happening to the chicken when you start seeing it coloring or getting brown. That's the Maillard reaction occurring. The protein of the chicken reacting to the heat. And so that's what you want because that creates flavor. When you sear your product, whether if it's chicken, beef, pork, whatever it may be, you're searing it to bring out more of a flavor. And the flavor profile changes the darker your product gets. So what we're doing is we're allowing the oils to sear the chicken. Oh, it's already smelling good. It's already smelling good. You want to move it around, but again, we're going to sear the chicken, both sides. Then we're going to take it out. Then we're going to throw our carrots and our onion in. Those we're going to caramelize. Caramelization, again, is a chemical reaction between sugar and heat. And as sugar experiences heat, it starts to break down and it browns. That's caramelization. Again, that's flavor that we're adding to our dish, which is going to make a wonderful flavored dish. But as you hear it, now look at this, it's browning already. Look at that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If we don't hear that sound, we're not cooking, ladies and gentlemen. You got to hear that. The chicken is dancing in my pot right here. It's dancing. That means your oil got hot enough. That means that your dish is good, your chicken is searing. It's not stewing, it's searing, which you want to get that flavor from off of the searing that you're doing. Oh, that's awesome. Just listen. And we turn the chicken, we keep turning it. Get some nice color on this chicken, right? All about the flavor. That's what we're doing. And we're having fun, right? We're cutting, we're getting our mise en place together. Then we bring everything over to the stove. We have the right tool, which is the Dutch oven. We get our oil hot. We're now putting it in there. Look, it's still getting nice and golden there. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a dish and we're gonna remove the chicken for now out of the pot. And now, we're going to add our onion. You hear that? That right there is love. Then we're going to add our carrot. And we're going to let it saute down a little bit. We're going to add a little oil. Oh yeah, listen to that. Keeping your pan high. And then you start smelling all of the wonderful, that's caramelization right there. You see the onions getting a little brown? That's because of the natural sugars that are in carrots and in your onions is reacting to the heat, and it's caramelizing and is creating a flavor that's going to be very, very good in your dish. Now we're going to saute these for a little bit, for maybe 4 minutes. Now we're going to turn it down a little bit. Okay? We have our chicken off. Now what I want to do to incorporate everything, now I'm going to get my water a little ready for boiling my broccoli, because that's going to be one of the sides I'm going to serve with my braised chicken. So now I got my water going. Get that nice and hot. I have my sauteed carrots and onion. Oh, that smells amazing. Now what we're going to do is add the garlic. And the reason why I added the garlic later is because it's smaller. And I didn't want it to get burnt while I'm waiting for my carrots and my onions to caramelize. So I waited a little bit before I added my garlic. So now as I saute everything together, the carrot is cooking, the onion is cooking, and now the garlic is all cooking together, fusing together this flavor that's going to just be adding to the dish. Absolutely amazing. This smells great. So we're going to let it sit there. Now, the next items that we're going to add again in sequence is we're going to next add our fresh herbs, our bay leaf, our Dijon mustard, and our honey. We're going to incorporate all that into there, and a little salt, a little pepper. We're going to let that continue to caramelize. Then we're going to add our stock. We're going to let that stew down a little bit. We're going to add our chicken back to the dish, put the lid on it, and throw it in the oven. Let it cook for 1 hour. Now, again, depending on if you need to add a little bit more, maybe the chicken is a little bit bigger pieces you're using, or if you're going to use chicken breast, which you can, skinless, boneless chicken breast, they cook faster, so it wouldn't be a full hour. It might take about maybe 40 minutes. So, but that's what we want to make sure we're following in those orders based on the recipe that's been offered. And I believe the recipe will be on the Independent Healthy Options webpage. And you'll be able to get this complete recipe. Oh yeah, look at that. You see the color? That's caramelization. That is flavor. So now what we're going to do is, the next thing we're going to add is our fresh rosemary. We're going to just throw that whole thing in there. Then we're going to take a few of our fresh thyme. We're going to throw that in there. We're also going to take our lemon and we're going to zest right in there. Oh yeah, that's amazing. That's going to be amazing. Next is our honey. And we're adding all of this in. Dijon mustard. Our bay leaf. Just one bay leaf is good. This is real good stuff. A shot of your salt, shot of your pepper, and again, now caramelizing. Oh, all those flavors together, simply amazing. This great flavor. So remember, what we're doing is we're caramelizing our carrots, our onion, garlic, then our fresh herbs, our honey, then we added Dijon. We also have lemon zest in there. All those flavors incorporated together. We're going to put stock in this, stew it down for a second, add the chicken, put the lid on it, throw it in the oven for 1 hour. And all those flavors, and then of course, the chicken stewing in its natural juices, and it's being braised because of the juice that we're using, the essence of its own juices and the chicken stock, as well as all of the other ingredients that we use. This is going to come out very, very good. All right, now let's add our chicken stock. Remember, we used salt-free. All of that essence. Oh, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. We're letting it cook down for a minute. So now, what's happening is, all of the caramelization that was at the bottom of the pan, because it sweated out and it caramelizes, now has been lifted off the pan, and the little bit of the essence of the ingredients at the bottom of the pan, because we added the stock, has lifted up, and it's now in the juice. It's making this nice brothy flavored broth. It's going to be very, very good for the chicken that's cooking it, and it's going to add a lot of flavor. So that's what we've done. Now let's going to add the chicken. We're going to let it sit right in there, right inside the juice. This nice little broth we've created, right? Now we got it settled in there. That's looking really good. Taking the lid, put it on top. What we're going to do is we're going to now put it in the oven again at 350 degrees for 1 hour. But now, I have some already pre-made, and I also have some roasted potatoes done, which I'm going to throw these in. These will come out with the chicken I just put in the oven. We also have my water boiling for the broccoli, so we're going to throw a few broccoli florets in there. Again, because we're trying to make it sodium free, we're going to just keep that in boiling water and let that steam. This is ready to go. Let's open up this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at those chicken. Oh my, nice and soft, very tender. This is going to be amazing. Look at those flavors going on right there. Absolutely amazing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it over to my table. I'm going to bring it over with my potatoes, and we're going to assemble our dish real quick. We have our broccoli right here. We want to make sure that our broccoli is cooked just right. Of course, we don't want it to be brown, right? Because we've overcooked the broccoli. We want a nice, bright, and green. So the best thing is to always cook that last when you're going to serve your guests. You take it off the stove, strain it, or pull it right out of the pot, right into the dish, and serve it so it's nice and hot. It's nice and green. It looks succulent. It's so flavorful because you've just kept that nice, bright, green-looking broccoli to serve. And so this really just only takes just a few minutes. And I have my plate ready to go over there. And so what we've done, some simple steps. We've had our mise en place, which is things in place. We julienned our onions. We peeled our carrots. We saved the scraps of our onions and our carrots. We put them in a Ziploc bag, save it for later. You're going to want to use that later to make a phenomenal stock for yourself when you want to make a soup, maybe on a Saturday afternoon. And then we also had the braising technique. We paid attention to how we seared our chicken first, which we created the Maillard reaction, which is basically the reaction of protein and heat. That creates great flavor. Then what we did was we removed that. We added our onions and carrots, caramelizing them, adding our garlic, continue to caramelize. Then we added the rest of our ingredients, added the stock, created the stew, added the chicken, put it back in the Dutch oven, put the lid on it, threw it in the oven. Now we're going to wait for an hour, but we don't have to wait because I've already had some right over there ready to go. We're waiting for our broiled broccoli that's going to be served on the side with the roasted potatoes with this braised dish. So let's bring the broccoli over there. It's ready to go. And we're going to assemble our whole meal now. All right, here we are now ready to assemble our dish, and I'm ready to serve you guys out there. I really am. I wish I could, but I'm going to put it together so you can see what your finished product would look like once you've taken your braised chicken out of the oven, once you've boiled your broccoli, and you roasted your beet red potatoes. Now we're going to assemble it all together. So here we are. We got our broccoli on the plate. We're going to assemble our roasted potatoes. That's going to go on the plate. And then lastly, we're going to put our chicken on there. Oh my goodness. Absolutely phenomenal. Look at this. It smells great. Look at the chicken's already falling off it. Okay? And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take some of the essence, some of the goodies, some of the carrot, some of the onion, right? And I'm going to also serve it over the chicken. Oh, look at that dish. And I'm going to take some of the broth that we created so that we have more flavor. Right? Look at this. And we're going to garnish it a little bit. Let's throw a little garnish on there, huh? Look at that. Phenomenal. Look at that amazing dish you and I did together this evening on this nice little cooking demonstration hosted by Independent Health, Healthy Options. I really hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed it a lot. Now, after we turn off this video, I'm going to take this wonderful plate and I'm going to enjoy dinner. I'm sorry, I would definitely invite you all over. But until next time, bon appetit. Have a great evening. Thank you very much.